Hey guys, welcome back. If you're a new viewer, my name is Lillian. You are welcome to the channel. And if you are not a subscriber, thank you for staying around. So in this video, we'll be making this ruffle sleeve that you are seeing on the screen right now. This is actually very fluffy and beautiful. If this is what interests you, make sure you watch to the end. And at the end, please give me a thumbs up. So let's go into the video. So I've already made my upper part from the shoulder to the half length. I've already drafted and sewn it. So I've closed the armhole from the two parts, and I'll take the measurements around the armhole. If I take the measurements, I'll have 12 inches on both armholes. So 12 inches is the round armhole for this dress. And I've folded my sleeve. I have 4 folds here. I just folded a sleeve that will give me 4 folds. And I've marked out my starting line. This is my starting line. And because we are not working with a sew-fitted dress, we'll be getting the calf's height. To get the calf's height, I will divide this dress armhole by 4. Like I said, this dress is not so fitted to the body. The issue of calf height depends on the type of dress you are working with. So because I'm working with a bit loose dress, I'll divide it by 4. If I'm working with a very fitted dress, I'll divide my armhole by 3. So my calf's height is 3 inches. And the length of the sleeve I'm working with is 4 inches, just 1 inch below the calf's height. So you can decide to maintain the calf's height, or you even go longer than what I am doing. The base of the sleeve depends on you, on what you want. So on my calf's height, I'm inputting my chest line. What I used for my chest line was 5 inches. I am inputting it there, and I will mark it in a slant manner to the tip of my starting line. So I will divide that line into 2. When I get it into 2, I will mark, and on the half of the line, that is where I just marked, I will go up by half an inch. And you can just use a free hand or your ruler to get that curve. On this second line as well, I will divide it into 2 and come down by 1/4 of an inch. That is 0.25 inches. And I will make my mark, my curve. You can use your French curve, or you just use your free hand. So when I get this, I will mark it as my back, and my front. The front is actually deeper than the back. I will come in a bit for the front, and I'll connect it as well. I'm just trying to get it in a way that it will be easier for us. So the first line, if I measure it, I will end up having 6 inches. That is half of what we are working with. And the front line, I will end up having 6 inches, 1/8. So you can see I just had an ease of 1/8, which is very okay. You can have ease of half an inch or 1/4 inch. So since I finished marking, I'm just adding my half an inch seam allowance at the top part, and by the side I added 1 inch. On the down part as well, I added half an inch, and I'll go ahead and cut it out. So half an inch on the top and on the down, then 1 inch by the side. So on that down part, you can choose to put your round sleeve measurement or your bicep measurement, since this is almost resting at the bicep area. Or you can just take away just half an inch from what I have there, so that it will not be too free and it will not cup the child's overarm very well. But if you want it to cup the child's overarm, please put the round arm measurement or your bicep measurement, or the round sleeve you are working with if you are working with a longer length. So since I've cut it, remember I said the front will be deeper than the back one. I'll just trim off about 1/4 inch away from what I have on one side. So this place I trimmed off will be my front side, and I'll give it a notch so that when I'm fixing it on my dress, I will know which one is the front and the back. So as you can see, I labeled front and back, and I have 4 pieces. Like I said earlier, I folded my material so that I will get 4 pieces, 2 for each sleeve, so that I'll be able to turn the down part very neatly. So once I get the right ones to work with, make sure you are getting the right ones so that you know pick the ones that will be staying on each sleeve as one. Get the two sleeves correctly, and when I get them correctly, I'll flip on the right side. I'll be marking my marks on the right side. I'll first of all take away my 1 inch for my seaming allowance. Remember, I left 1 inch for it. I will take away 1 inch for my seaming allowance on all the 4 sides. This is for my 2 sleeves. And when I do that, I'll connect the lines. We are just trying to create the lines where our ruffle will go. Then on the down part, I left half inch. I will take it away ½ inch on the down part. If there are chances that you struggle with fixing it with ½ inch, please 0.75 is okay. That is 3/4 of an inch. On the top part as well, I will take away my ½ an inch. You can as well leave out 0.75 at this up part. So as you can see, I've created all my sewing allowances at the top and at the down and at the sides as well. So I'll go ahead to just mark my lines in between those allowances. So you can make it 1 inch spacing or ½ an inch spacing. I marked a lot of lines here, though I didn't sew on all of them. While sewing, you would guess how full it is, and that will determine how you sew. So for my ruffle, I've cut up strips of net. I have 6 pieces here, 3 for each sleeves, and each strip here is 5 yards. Each of them is 5 yards. So for each sleeves, I have 15 yards divided into 3. Each sleeves is 3, and that is 15 yards. So the width of the net is 3 inches. The width is 3 inches, and the length, like I said, is 5 yards for each of the strips. 5 yards. So 15 yards for each sleeves. And I'll take you to my machine to show you how to do it. So I'll set my machine length and width 9 and 4. The length is 9, the width is 4. The stitch length and the stitch width. So I will just place my machine foot at the middle of the net, and I will gather through to the end. So I'll do this exact thing you are seeing me doing to all of the 6 strips. If you have this machine, it will be easier for you. You can as well gather with a blackhead sewing machine if you want, but I was in a hurry. I didn't want to go through those threads. So when I'm done gathering, I'll bring my base, which I've already marked, and my gathered net, and I'll position it, making sure that with that 1 inch, I am not placing it on the 1 inch, and I'm not placing it to cover my seam allowance at the up. So I'll just take it gently, take your time, arrange it, and sew at the middle where you made your first stitches. The lines that you gathered it from, that's where you're going to make your stitches right now. So just take your time. It is actually not the easiest thing to do, but it's doable. So take your time to have a neat work. And this is what I would do till all those lines are covered. So for the first line, when I get to the end, I'll backstitch it and I'll cut it off. Then I'll start again on the second line. I'll push those the first line away. You can pin it down so that it doesn't get in your way. You pin it away, then you start sewing the second line. So the numbers of lines you'll be sewing on depends on how full you want it and the amount of net you have as well. So I'll just arrange to get the middle, and I'll continue. I'll do this all to the lines, how full I want it, and if my net gets exhausted along the line, I'll just maintain the one I've already gathered. But I will make sure that I'll have the fullness I want from these 15 yards rather. I'll go ahead and finish it up, and I'll show you how it looks like. So this is for one sleeve. I'll finish this up. The 15 yards gave me this. So if you want a fuller one, you have to work with more yards of net. So this is how the inside looks. As you can see where my lines went through. At this point, you can trim off all those ones that are poking up just to make it rounded. You fluff it out and you trim it out just to make it rounded. And the next thing is to cover the down part with the second part of your lining. This will be serving as the lining, the other one was the base. So when I flip it like this, right side facing the net, and I will pin to get the down part, the 1/2 inch that I left at the down part, I will pin to get it, making sure that the net is inside. I am not pinning the net together with this. I'll just pin it all through and we'll sew. So I've pinned it all through and we'll just sew on that line. So when I'm done stitching, I will top stitch the excess. I'll top stitch the seam towards the lining part. I'll push the seam towards the lining part and I will top stitch on it just to make that lining part relax. So when I'm done with this, I can now flip it over like so. So there are 2 ways you can close this. You can do it this way, just flip it over, pin it, and just pin it all through so that it stays as one with the base. You pin it all through, pin it at the top as well. You can tack it so that it stays at one so that you will be able to fix it to your bodice. Or the next method is what I will be using to achieve more neatness. So when you pin like this, you just close it with that your 1 inch that you left. Or you open it up like this and match it net to net and your satin to your satin. That is that 1 inch. You are matching your lining, which is your satin, to your lining and your net to your net, right? Then you will close it up like so with 1 inch, so that when we are done, this side will be neatly closed. The only place we are going to serge is the part that will be fixing to our bodies. If you don't want to serge it, you can as well tape it with a cotton bias. You can pipe it with it, but I will be serging mine. So this is just to minimize the amount of rough edges we'll be having. So when I'm done with this, I'll just push it in and my lining, that side is neatly closed, as you can see from the video. And I'll bring that lining and now pin it together with the base. Open your seam, open it, then match it together with the base. The 2 seams will be open so that it will not be bulky at that part. Then I'll pin it to the base of the sleeve and it will be one. I'll be able to fix it to my bodice properly. So you can stitch it before fixing it to put them in place, or you can just fix it directly. So this is how the inside looks. As you can see, I have some level of neatness here. The only rough edges I'm going to have is the one that I'll be fixing directly on my sleeve. That is the armhole. The round armhole is the only rough edges. And at this point, you can still trim it off to make it rounded. When I get my bodice, I've already made my gown. I'll just fix it with the 1/2 inch all around. And this is ready. Thank you for watching up to this point. At this point, we've come to the end of this tutorial. Always give me a thumbs up. Do well to subscribe if you've not. And I will see you in my next videos. I will repeat the same thing for the second sleeve. Thank you and bye.